Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. India have won this fifth T20I by 150 runs, a dominant performance, and they have sealed the series 4-1. Let's go into this review. Starting off with the 11s, from an England perspective, they made one change from the previous match, and a change that I didn't understand. Mark Wood in place of Saqib Mahmood. Now, if we're going to the 4 overs analysis, Mark Wood bowled 4 overs, 2 for 32, which, given the score that India amassed, is a good reading. However, looking at the impact that Saqib Mahmood made in the previous game, yes, it was 3 gifted wickets, but if you're looking at the type of bowlers or the lengths that Saqib Mahmood and Mark Wood bowl, Saqib Mahmood is more likely to bowl the fuller lengths which is required in this venue, as the ball does move around in the power play in the 1KD. Which Mark Wood, a lot of the time he bowled at that back of a length, and we saw in this match 2 for 32. As a fast bowler, you've got to attack in the power play at the 1KD, and that is getting the batsman to go on the front foot. Does Mark Wood do that? No, he doesn't. So I thought it was the incorrect change made, and they've used him in the power play before as well. I think in the T20 World Cup in Barbados, he bowled with a new ball. The commentators were saying he'd swing the ball, but you could draw a straight line. The ball was going in a straight line. There was no swing whatsoever. I don't understand why they're bowling with a new ball. And today, once again, we saw, even though he got away with it in terms of his figures, the team did. And from an Indian perspective, they made a change which I also didn't understand. Mohammad Shami back in place of Arshdeep Singh, and I don't understand his situation, because is he fit or is he not fit? In this match, what I would have done is the opposition has been bowled out in 10 overs. Mohammad Shami has bowled 3 overs, fairly unconvincing overs. He was hit around from the first ball. What I would have done is, in preparation for the Champions Trophy, and given the conditions on offer, he won't get better conditions to bowl with a new ball under lights at this venue than this. I would have given him 4 overs on the trot, even if he went for runs, to see what he could do. One, he could get confident if things went well for him. I could see if he was bowling ready. I could see if his fitness would hold up. Instead, you're bowling him for 2 overs, then returning him for the third. He got 3 wickets, yes, but was it convincing? No, it wasn't. And has his bowling thus far been convincing? None for 15 and 2. I thought in the first 2 overs that he bowled in his comeback was a decent performance. But in this case, you should build on that. And you're dropping him every second game. I don't understand when you've named him in a Champions Trophy squad when he has to bowl 10 overs every match. So I don't know what they're going to do from that perspective. And Josh Buttler won the toss and chose to field first. And I expected this, because in the ODI World Cup against South Africa at this venue, that he did that, and England conceded 400. I don't understand looking at their bowling attack. A lot of people say they'll be due in Mumbai, so they choose to bowl first, and a lot of those teams have lost those matches. And in this case, looking at this attack, we're looking at how they've bowled not only in this series, but in the past few years. What convinced him with this attack that they'd go all restricting India to a score less than 200 at a venue like this? I don't understand. The T20 World Cup of 2022, England deserved to win it, but I've said this before, that win papered over the cracks. It was a very ordinary side that went to that T20 World Cup. You've got Josh Buttler, Alex Hales, you saw what they did against India, and overall, England did deserve to win that World Cup, but it papered over the cracks. Around that, have we seen an optimal performance from England in all 3 formats? No, we haven't. In Test cricket, their aggressive approach has helped them compete more. I will say that, because before about the 2021 time, things weren't going well in Test cricket with the bat. But has the outcome been there? No, it hasn't. And has the performance or the outcome been there in white ball cricket? No, it hasn't. So I feel this was an expected outcome. The moment Josh Buttler won the toss and chose to bowl first, the match was done then and there. And from the first wicket to four, Sanju Samson, the first ball of the innings, he hit for 6 because that short delivery was slightly away from him. And it looked like he wanted to prove a point where whenever someone did bowl short, he hit the ball for a 6. And he got out to a rollicking start, 16 off 6. And The moment the ball was bowled slightly closer to him, cramping him up for room, he hit it in the air as he did in the previous match, straight to the square leg fielder. And I've said this before, this management isn't the type of management to correct players' techniques or give a word on the mental conditioning side, how to approach things. In that case, if he had played that shot along the ground rather than looking to go over the top of the square leg fielder, I'll say this again, Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson, it is the most talented opening combination for India in this format. We may have seen a 300 score if Sanju Samson also got set. Unfortunately, he wasn't set. He's gone through 5 failures in this series. Hopefully, a word can be put through to help him deal with that ploy that teams would be looking to execute from now. I think 80 runs were scored by about the 5th over in the power play, and I'll say this again, if you're bowling halfway down the track in India, it will not work. We saw the bowling from Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. They bowled the typical lengths that they do bowl, which is why England in Asia off late haven't had the greatest of success. I think there was the series in 2021, the 5-match T20I series, where a stacked England side with the Owen Morgans, Jofra Archers, Mark Wood, who were bowling better then than they were now. They turned up, and India won that series 3-2. Apart from that, their performances in Asia and in conditions where the ball has turned, for example, in the Caribbean, has been very ordinary. And we saw that one-dimensional ploy again with the bowling and as usual with the batting effort in the second innings. Tilak Verma, who was dismissed for a duck in the previous match, got out for 24 and the scores on, I think, 136. And I won't criticize the dismissal of Suryakumar Yadav in this match, because in the previous 2 matches, when chasing 170, you're playing that shot unnecessarily. In the previous match, you're giving a catch to the mid-wicket fielder when you've already lost 2 wickets in the over. That is a lack of application. In this case, you've got such a platform and you want to take full toll on a batting surface like this against an attack like this. I understand why he went for that shot. He likes playing that shot. So I won't fault his dismissal today. I think had he applied himself better in the other matches, especially in the prior 2 matches, him failing today or him attempting that shot today would have been justified. So that's on that. I'm not going to criticize him for today's dismissal. And 247 for 9, it was where Abhishek Sharma's blistering knock was what set this total up. Apart from the highest score was 30. Shivam Dubey, I'm happy for him because a lot of the time he was peppered with short deliveries and he hit those for 6s. A cameo of 30 where that was the second highest score in the innings. And the combination of Abhishek Sharma and Sanju Samson most of the time will fail, which is the reason why I still think it needs to be reviewed if their approach doesn't change. And you saw this in the previous match and in this match. Abhishek Sharma driving along the ground. It shows the amount of class that he has. And with a shot that he went from 27 to 31, the off drive down the ground, I thought that was the shot of the match. He only took 1 risk, and that was when from going from 59 to 65, he used his feet to Adil Rashid, tried to hit him for 6 over long off. It didn't seem as if he had full connection on that shot, and it could have easily gone to the long off fielder. It went over his head for 6. Had that catch been taken or had it gone to the long off fielder, it would have ended that knock prematurely. We would not have seen such a blitz of an innings unfold. So people may say, right, it's risk reward. He took that one option when he was going well and it paid off. I would still say if he hit that 6 with a risk-free option, then I think a lot of the time we will see Abhishek Sharma breach that at least 80-run mark, because if he bats past the power play, if he remains after the power play, I feel he is one of the toughest batsmen to go to simply because of the class he has no weaknesses. And from an England bowling point of view, I said this already, it's where the fundamentally bowling shorter lengths, and you saw what happened. And at the Wankhede, we've seen finger spinners have been more successful than wrist spinners. Adil Rashid is a wrist spinner. Liam Livingstone, whenever he's been bowling nowadays, he's gone for runs. England did not have that spin advantage. And once again, Jacob Bedell hasn't bowled for a long while now, and he's a backup for Livingston because of his bowling, partly because of his bowling, which I don't understand. And from the batting point of view, it's good that Phil Salt scored that 55 because when India scored 297 in Delhi, I think a couple of months ago, Hyderabad, a couple of months ago against Bangladesh, Litan Das, who isn't part of Bangladesh's Champions Trophy squad, it was the greatest opportunity for an inconsistent player to get a big score. And he scored 42 and was dismissed. Phil Salt, when the others were dismissed, he scored boundaries from the first ball, and it was an enterprising innings to see. And from a player's perspective, the blame may be slightly shifted away from you because you gave that impetus to yourself. Mohammad Shami, it was a very unconvincing 3 overs from him. I think he went for 14 runs in his first 3 deliveries, and his action seems to have changed because it seems to the arm doesn't seem to be as upright as it was before. It seems to be slightly swaying, and I have to check that again. But comparing to what it was before injury during the ODI World Cup, I saw that to be a difference. He doesn't seem to be back to full match fitness, and therefore when you're not bowling him for 4 overs in these conditions, I don't understand. And we're talking about game sense. Harry Brook, in the previous match, he goes on his knees and tries to lap a spinner. He's already got a boundary in the over, and they've got a square leg, a deep square leg in the power play. Ravi Bishnoi is bowled. You're taking it from the offside, dragging it to the deep square leg fielder and being dismissed. Then it shows the lack of game sense. And for England, I'll be saying, after I finish up talking about India, I'll be saying, suggesting an 11, which I think they could go for, probably which I think they should go for. And a few of the players haven't been tested out much in international cricket, especially one player. I don't know if he qualifies to play for England yet, but I will be suggesting that 11 after I finish up with India. For India, there is only one thing that they have to focus on. That is, if 3 out of the top 4, because Tilak Verma has got double Ks, if 3 out of the top 4 can get you to a situation of 53 for 1 in 6 in a risk-free manner, India can score 200 on any surface. They've got the class, they've got the talent. Gautam Gambhir, in the aftermath of this match, said they're looking to score 250 to 260 a lot of the time. And given the approach they took today, I don't mind it because they took risk-free options, classical strokes. Whereas a lot of the other times when chasing lower totals, they have tried to agriculturally swing at every ball and were dismissed. Already in the previous match, we saw it was an uncharacteristic shot that Tilak Verma played. Rinku Singh, 26 balls of swinging, and he didn't get many runs for that either. The strike rate wasn't too high. So if India can temper the swinging and do what they did today, playing classical risk-free cricket, then they've got the talent to amass these kind of scores. And I'll say this again, Hardik Pandya bowling wide, slow ball, tennis ball bounces in the over that he bowled. He had 23 in his 2. Criticize wins or scrutinize wins, and if you've lost, of course, you'd feel bad and you wouldn't want to really go into that too much. But when you're winning, when you've won a series as convincingly as this, now is the time to remind Hardik Pandya of his skill levels and say, right, we know what you have done before, bowling 135 plus at hard lengths, and for some reason you're afraid no matter when you bowl, no matter who you bowl to. We want to change that for the good of Indian cricket and maybe include a personal thing in that as well to say, right, we know what you can do. You know what you can do. Don't you want to be doing justice to yourself as an all-rounder? Then if you remind him of his previous success, as I've said in the last 2 videos, there's a chance that he will turn a corner, revert to what he was doing before with the ball. This management does not have those conversations. I don't think they would do that. If I was in the management, it is what I would do. And now on England, this is the 11 that I'm going to be suggesting for them to field in future T20Is. The opening combination being Phil Salt and Ben Duckett. And number 3, Lewis Deploy. Because I don't know whether he qualifies to play for England. He's originally from South Africa. He's been playing for Middlesex for a number of years now. He's been playing the SA20s listed as an overseas player and as an English player. So if he does qualify to play, people have been saying bring Joe Root in. He'll be the second option. But if he wants another left-hander who's good against spin as well, then you've got Lewis Deploy, number 3, Joss Butler 4, Harry Brook 5, Liam Livingstone, the problem is England's a reputed white ball side, but who is the player apart from Livingstone who's been doing very poorly for the last few years? Who is that player who's giving him competition? There's no one. So Livingstone can effectively do whatever he wants with the bat and ball. He won't be dropped for the next few matches. He's been going for runs whenever he's bowled. He's been not bowling more than 1 over a lot of the time. This match, 2 overs, none for 29. It's a miracle if he crosses 9 runs more often than not. And he's got no competition, so he's allowed to do what he's doing. You've got Tom Kohler-Cadmo, who can bat anywhere in the top 5. He's a pure batsman, can keep occasionally. But he doesn't provide that bowling, being to be the 6th bowler, unless you play Joe Root at number 3. Therefore, can you bring him in the side in place of Harry Brook as well? I don't think they'll do that, so he does not have a chance of getting in this side. Number 7, Bryden Cast. Number 8, Reece Topley. Number 9, Jofra Archer. 10, Adil Rashid. Number 11, Saqib Mahmood. Tom Hartley, the reason why I've gone with him ahead of Brian Ahmed. Brian Ahmed is a wicket taker, he can go for runs. Tom Hartley can land the ball in the same handkerchief area with consistency. Adil Rashid can go for wickets. Tom Hartley can consistently land the ball in the handkerchief area and can bowl that 1 for 30 in 4 performance, which this side desperately needs. Brian Ahmed can be a backup for either Tom Hartley or Adil Rashid. Jamie Smith, the wicket keeper, I think he can also bat at 6, where if Liam Livingstone, if they realise his bowling is not doing anything and his batting, he's not scored runs for a while, you could put Jamie Smith in place of Liam Livingstone at number 6. Joe Root as a backup for Lewis Deploy, or if Deploy doesn't qualify, then you start Joe Root and bowl some off spin as well. And Luke Wood. Now, this is a player who in the IPL, he bowled 1 over for 6 runs in his first outing. For some reason, was not bowled after that, and he does far better in the power play than he does in the day. He only bowls 3 overs in the power play. They bowled him with the death. He went for runs in a run fest against the Delhi Capitals. He played for Mumbai, and he didn't know what to do when bowled on that situation, bowling to Tristan Stubbs, who hit him for lap shots for 6s. So when he's been used incorrectly, people may have a view on him, but he's played the T20, he's playing the T20. In his last few matches, he hasn't got many wickets, but in the T10, he has a capacity to bowl 1 for 19 in 2 overs, which is a fantastic performance. So I feel him to bowl 2 overs or 3 overs up front, he can bat a bit as well. And him and Saqib Mahmood are 2 of the bowlers in England right now who look to bowl fuller lengths, which this side desperately needs. Despite Mark Wood's reputation, his bowling has not been there since 2019 in white ball cricket, and reputation aside, you've got to go for who would be optimal for this team given the roles that need to be filled. And another player who, now I don't think they should bring this player in, Chris Wilkes can also bowl the full lengths, but in the first match of the SA20, especially against the Pretoria Capitals, Remanullah Gurbaz took him to the cleaners. If someone hits him for a boundary, he does not know what to do next, which is this is the reason why England moving on from him in T20 cricket is the correct option. When you got Luke Wood as a swing bowler there, I don't think Chris Wilkes would be needed. So this is the squad that I will be going for. If they go the same players again, Jamie Overton, 1 for 48 in 3 overs. Does he qualify to bat at number 6? Liam Livingstone, despite his form? No, he doesn't. Does he qualify to bowl 4 overs, especially in this part of the world? No, he doesn't. So, can you replace a bowler with him? No. Can you replace a batsman with him? No, he does not make the squad. Jamie Smith is a very good talent, but he'd find it tough to crack this top 5, especially if Joe Root is in place of Lewis Deploy. I don't think you'd be able to drop a player like Joe Root that easily. So that's on this England 15. I think if they go with this, it would optimize their resources. Will they go with this? I don't know. I think the Champions Trophy looks... Now, I live in England, so and I've appreciated a lot of their players in the past. I still do appreciate a lot of the players. But with the way that the approach against spin, and for a long while now, the game has been on the decline, I feel, in especially the white ball. In fact, I've said this before, where when the test team, the batting was not going well, I'd said the white ball bowling soon will be in a worse fate than the test match batting. Looking at the test match batting, they're at least competing in all of the series they play. the white ball bowling, they've not been adjusting their lengths, and that has cost them. So we'll see how they do in the Champions Trophy. In my view, South Africa and England will not qualify. It will be Australia and Afghanistan qualifying, and India will play against Afghanistan in the semi-final. Thoughts on that, and let's see what India and England do in the ODI series. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, remember, this is my opinion. Thoughts.